Wow, I'm recording this again. I love solo leveling, so this is going to be probably a very long series. And this is a 1 hour special since I have nothing better to do. But anyway, last time I got off, I think it was when he was laying in his bed. But if that's. Anyway, next time, Skip, it's the next day. Izuku is sitting in class with Aizawa not here. He's wondering when, why he's always in the classroom. As always, suddenly comes in with the biggest smile on his face. Of course, everybody's weirded out by this. And, Aizawa comes in and says, Izuku, pack your things. Izuku looks at him and asks why. And he just calls Shinto in. Shinto in this is basically the successor to One Fall. So, anyway. And yes, for calling, so yeah. And people still think that Izuku is just quirkless. Keep in mind, they do have classes. And by plot, we're gonna see Izuku getting a 1A. They get 1B and everything like that. So, Izuku was just like sitting there. He's baffled by this until he snaps out of it, got up, basically packed his school bag and everything. Oh, sorry if you hear any noise. He gets up, walks out of the classroom, and he goes on a social class. Well, as I was walking with him towards class 1B, it's eerie silence, and basically he's holding Jag and Albion B. He's all basically holding them back because they really want to beat Azawa's ass. So, a bit more time later. Oh, here's my brother. Well, I'm honest, as a surprised didn't come bulging in. But anyway, he finally reaches basically the 1B door. He opens it and basically introduces himself. Class 1B groans instead of 1B. Instead of 1. This being he took a candle. And whatever. But anyway, he basically everyone says not a quirkless really. Already falling behind 1A. We don't need another dead weight. Izuku basically just looks down and basically walks away. He goes and sits in his desk, well, in empty desks, and basically pull out his book and just starts writing in it. And he basically just got time skip to the end of the day. Izuku's in his dorm room, angry as hell. And there's something I wanted to say. Basically, Zuko has a PS5. On his PS5, he usually plays basically shooting games. This being Apex Legends, Fortnite, Call of Duty. He has every Call of Duty, and the rest is whatever game you like. Oh, shit. Oh, well, sorry about that. Izuku. Oh my god. Izuku. He basically opens up the multiverse setting. Well, the multiverse skill. I mean, he searches around for anything until one peculiar one catches his eye. It basically says Call of Duty Black Ops 4. He looks at it and just basically he immediately taps on it. A bit later, Izuku finally lands and just sees gunfire everywhere. Izuku breathes in and he breathes out. He basically pulls out his weapons. Well, more like guns. He went with Spectre. Okay, anyway, and he goes on a complete rampage. This man is up to 1,000 kills while the other, keep in mind, he's playing on Vet 2, but He is demolishing. He is cutting, well, shooting the hell out of these dudes. He's at 1,000 while the bots are at 100. He finally had enough of basically just killing bots and basically switches to modern warfare, well, Cold War. He basically just, he, how can I say this? He went on a cheek clapping spree. If anyone came out to him, this man's trigger finger was so damn fast and reaction speed. If you were to basically walk in front of him, he would fill you with lead so damn fast, all you see is a red screen. You basically spawn and all you see is red on your screen, that's all. That's how good this man went. He went God mode. He's finally done clapping cheeks and just basically decides to just leave. He exits and he's basically cooled off a bit. So he basically says, I decreate. He basically says, I decreate. And Izuka basically drops into Call of Duty. But, well, Call of Duty 3 zombie setting. He drops into this and is basically looking around. But instead of zombies, he gets shot in the leg. Izuku basically falls down and he looks up where the bullet came from. He saw basically a sniper glint and he basically pulled out his spear and yeeted it at this guy. This basically exploding in the process and killing the man who shot him. Izuku got up. He basically looking around and seeing zombies running towards him because of the noise he made. Izuku pulled out his blade and basically went on to go on another killing spree. Him basically just making dragons eat these dudes. After that, he jumps. He jumps back and basically looks at what he's done. All you see is blood and guts everywhere. So Izuku stands back and basically he almost gets shot in the head. Luckily he dodges and looks at where the bullet came from. He looks and sees nothing and he basically just, he got a skill called sensory. He basically senses everything around him and sees one guy. He basically looks at where this guy is. Oh, he basically looks at where this guy is, and just shoots his arrow. It basically reaching the guy and killing him ultimately. Izuku basically stands up and is obviously tired as hell. He basically says, I de-escape. Well, keep in mind, Izuku is not just tired from just killing a couple of people, no. He's been in this ID for 5 hours so far. He finally says, I de-escape, and he basically pops into his room, but he suddenly hears a gasp. Well, maybe, oh my god. He quickly turns to where the sound came from, and he saw, hold up. He quickly turned to where the sound came from, and he saw Tsuka Kando saying that. He basically slowly approaching her and saying, tell her not to tell anyone about this. A loud girly scream comes from her mouth, and like I said, a girly scream. She screams and asks when he unlocked his cloak. Izuku covered his ears and said a couple of months ago. A couple months ago. He finally gets up. He stops covering his ears and tells her what she's doing here. She basically tells She basically tells him that she wanted to come to him because to say that not all of them are bad people. Izuku just rolls his eyes and says, sure, not all of them. Him obviously saying that everybody get on there. Except for he turned around and basically told her just to leave. She left. Sad of course, but anyway. Izuku just jumps on his bed after just basically doing that. And we skip to the next day. Izuku finally exits. Izuku finally exits his house to see more freaking whispers about him. But these, instead of like normal whispers, this was mixed emotions. Him obviously weirded out about this, but not caring and continue walking. He finally walks into class, and everyone suddenly just basically bombards him with questions. Izuku obviously what you know, Izuku obviously weirded out by this asks them what they want. Very he asked how long he had his cook. Izuku basically glared at Kendo and basically told everyone to get out of his way. Well, he walked past everyone, not answering any of their questions. She basically sat down and said he doesn't have a croak and just slammed his head down on his desk. Well, not hard, just, you know when you're tired and you just basically put your head hard down? Yeah, or is that just me? Anyway, he just lays there, bored out of his mind. Bored out of his mind. And he basically looks at Kendo, and he also got another skill. So this skill basically being mind reading, well, telepathy, I guess. He basically looks at Kendo and uses telepathy. Him asking her why he told everyone. Her being all confused, looking behind her. Up. What the fuck? What? You're asking why I'm. Listen, my brother just came in and fucking threatened me out of nowhere. What the hell? That's fucking weird. What the fuck? Wait, I gotta question this nigga on this. Hold up. Honestly, at this point, this is a weird family. If you were offended by what I said, then I'm sincerely sorry and I apologize for hurting your feelings. Not saying that sarcastically. But anyway, I apologize if you were hurt by what I said. But anyway, this is a weird ass family. Man's just said I don't know what he said and just walked away. Honestly, this is getting weird. But anyway, again, I apologize if you were offended. Izuku, this obviously my hood feelings are coming out whenever my brother's around. And I'll try not to say it again. But anyway, Izuku, finally, he basically, I got a weird feeling he's gonna come back and say some weird stuff. You know what? Screw it. Izuku, basically, Kendo, looking behind her and basically telling herself in her head that she only told her friends. Izuku still said, why did you tell her? Kendo telling him that she thought she would basically tell everyone. Izuku, obviously pissed off at this, just sighs and just decides to leave. This is, you know what, man? Anyway, Izuku is obviously pissed off. Rightfully so. I would also be pissed off if you snitched. But anyway, Izuku finally gets up. Well, Pete asked the teacher if he could basically go to the bathroom. He said yes, and Izuku basically left. Izuku basically left, like I said. He gets up and leaves the classroom. Izuku was obviously just walking through the halls until Bakugo came walking up to him, grabbed his basically sleeve or his collar, pulled him close to him and said how long he had to cook. Izuku says he doesn't have a cook and pushes Bakugo off him. He turns around and walks away, but Bakugo explodes him in the back of the head. Izuku tumbles to the ground and basically gets beaten on by Bakugo. After that's done, Izuku finally gets up and, walks to the bathroom. He enters one of the stalls and starts using healing. When he's done, he sighs and basically exits. He walks out of his classroom, opens the door. Well, he exits. Well, he walks into the classroom. He again is pissed off because what Bakugo did. Just assaulted him in the fucking hallways. I mean, if someone randomly came up to you and started grabbing your basically collar, what would you do? But anyway, Izuku finally gets up, turns around, and walks away. What? What? He enters his classroom. Damn it! Why? What? Anyway, he enters his classroom. He basically turns around and, thanks his teacher for letting him leave. He walks towards the seat and basically sits down. Him sighing and basically just going to sleep on his desk. Since he's already pretty smart. Very, very smart. He's actually the smartest person on the school. Not even a school in the world. But anyway, in the world. We time skip and we see Izuku basically wakes. He wakes up and basically no one's there to basically wake him up except for Kendo. Izuku finds just getting up and walking away, thanking her as he exits the classroom. He basically walks out the storm and, decides to test out Jack and Albion. He says, I decreate and summons them. Izuku basically, he summons them, and keep in mind, since Izuku's already pretty strong, he doesn't have a limit. This thing, oh god. This thing boosts every second. Like, it just keeps yelling boost. That's all. And Albion, well, anyway, I gotta do some research about Albion, damn. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna go with the original power and some of my own. Boost. Basically, this man can repeatedly boost out any delay, kind of like Scale Mail. Keep in mind, I've not watched High School DxD, so yeah. He can basically do a boost and it's like Scale Mail. Next up, Dragon Shot, pretty common. Dragon Flames, like a dragon burst of flames. Penetrate. I've read in a wiki about it. Anyway, Penetrate is basically just penetrates any defensive abilities. Next up, it's my skills. Well, so, like I said, Dragon Flames, since Dragon Flames not the only flames he has. He has basically black flames like the Amaterasu. He also has, what can he have? You know what, that's all. I'll be on next. Dividing. And I don't know what else abilities he has. Since I'll go with the modificate that he has, I'll give him basically ice manipulation with that. Oh. Yeah, he has ice manipulation with that. Like dividing, ice manipulation, basically Sub-Zero, which basically makes his ice cold to basically this a descent, a bug that is colder than anything in this multiverse. And yeah, I think that's all. But anyway, since I haven't watched XD yet, so don't go out and come for my throat, please. But anyway, I think I'm gonna make this a 1 hour 40. I'm either gonna make this a 1 hour special, I think. I don't know. So, Izuku. Wow. So, Izuku. He summons them and, he uses Dragon Shot and fires it off at a big degree. During this whole time, Drag is just saying boost, 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 boost. And it doesn't really bother Izuku at all. Every time Drag says boost, Izuku it just keeps getting stronger. He gets faster. Basically, Drag's boost increases everything. Everything. His basically his stamina, his speed, his intelligence, everything. So after that's done, Izuku feels faster. So he charges at one basically zombie. Keep in mind he said I decreate. So he charges at a zombie. He punches the zombie straight in the head and it just explodes. Izuku jumps back and uses black flames since Jack is basically telling him how to. He shoots black flames at the thing and just disintegrates it. He stops and uses Dragon Breath. Dragon's Breath basically shooting it out of his palm, while Amaterasu is basically like normal flames. But Dragon Breath can only be shot out of his mouth. Yeah, like it says Dragon Breath. Red kind of, what kind of say? It can only be shot out of his palm, but anyway. It can only be shot out of his mouth. That's getting the name Dragon's Breath. He basically shoots fire everywhere. He basically is just defending our zombies while he asks Albion what his ability says. So basically, Albion says dividing, but he's gonna need an opponent for that. Izuku, he tells Izuku that he also has an ice ability. Izuku is off. He looks at this instead of ice. Albion says yes, and Izuku just says I already have ice. He says that Albion takes offense to that and say that weak ice is not like his. Izuku obviously says okay, and asks what's the difference. Albion basically says that he used to chat out himself. Izuku obviously weirded up by this, but just basically shoots off a powerful ice attack. This ice basically going everywhere. It has no difference. So, Izuku just basically is amazed by this, and he sees the physical difference. Todoroki's ice is light. It is a light blue. This ice is a dark blue. You can see the difference. He's obviously psyched by this, and he starts using it in unison, kind of like Todoroki's power. He's basically shooting off fire on one side and basically shooting off ice with the other. After that's done, Izuku basically kicks. He sees another, basically, how can I say this? He sees a opponent. This opponent being different. He can sense an aura coming off of him. But Izuku just decides, just think that it's another weird zombie. Over there, berserkers, and yeah, he just basically tries and shoots fire at him, but this person counters with ice. Izuku looks at this and just basically, what the hell? Izuku is baffled by this, and he smokes and says that there's no difference. He uses his ice, and basically this person clashes. What the absolute hell? Him and this person clashing, like I said. After that's done, Izuku just looks at this person weirdly and asks who they are. This person doesn't answer and just shoots off a massive ice glacier. Izuku using basically black flames to counter this massive ice barrage. These two clashing again, and Izuku basically winning the clash. What do you expect? This is black flames. Keep in mind, before he was just using Dragon's Breath. Izuku just basically pulls out his blade. His blades and summons two dragons. These dragons basically coming out, and Izuku quickly summons his daggers and slashes down at the person, while the other dragons go for an attack. He quickly summons his daggers, pull out his spear, and throws it at the person. The person seeing this tries to counter the dragons with ice glaciers, but the dragons just basically bait through it and hit this person pretty hard. This person getting sent flying and hitting the ground. When he looks up, he sees that basically a dark energy slash hits him in the face. This person obviously being hurt pretty badly and falling back. He looks again and sees a spear coming towards him. This spear obviously connecting with the person's face and automatically destroying them. After that's done, it basically ignites the person on fire. Hizoku he sounds his spear and basically grabs a hold of it. He looks at this person and decides to he basically walks up to it. But due to him using his spear, there is basically nothing left. Izuku sighs and says he has to use less explosive weapons. So he turns around and walks away. So Izuku just basically the hell? Izuku just basically he says I de-escape and sees keep in mind my wait. I think I left him at level 62. If not, then recap what I said. He's now level 72. I think I left him at 72. But, just in case I did, I'm gonna say he's now level 72. He basically just sighs, turns around. He just sighs and turns around and just basically walks off. Well, Peace says I de-escape while he's walking away. Him appearing outside. Oh wow. She basically just sees this. And Izuku just lays on his bed. He decides to open a couple of gifts. Him getting a telekinesis skill. And yeah. He tried to basically make this person a shadow, but since there was no remains due to the spear, he sighs again. But he still got a lucky weapon off him. This weapon basically being a normal sword. But Izuku not caring. At least he got one weapon. He basically walked towards it. Well, he just saying basically gift box open. And he gets a weird type of basically skill. This skill is yeah. This skill basically being money multiplier. And it says infinite at the bottom. Izuku obviously understands what this is, since he needs money to buy skills from the store menu. So, during this time, Izuku already had 11,000 in his bank. Since basically killing hordes of zombies does a lot for you. They usually offer 1 gold apiece. Well, yeah. basically gives him $1 every time he kills one. Well, $10 actually. He basically gets up and goes to the skill, basically to the store menu. One thing crosses basically his eyes, and it interests him really. Well, actually, two. This being Sasuke's eyes. Well, future Sasuke. Him obviously seeing this, and him tapping on it, and basically it just being weird eyes. Izuku with the information saying that these eyes are special, and that's all. Izuku decides, just says fuck it, and uses 10,000, and basically spends 10,000 on this. He suddenly feels a sharp pain going to his eyes, and he basically closes them tightly, and he basically collapses due to all the pain. Izuku wakes up an hour later, and he says never doing that again. He gets up, and Izuku, he basically walks towards his mirror to see what happened to his eyes. He sees that he has one purple eye and one red eye. This purple eye basically, let me show you what his eyes look. This obviously being in Izuku's basically eye sockets. He basically freaks out until he hears a voice telling him to calm down. Izuku says that he can't calm down right now, Jag. Jag suddenly saying, that's not me. And Albion basically seeing another person there. Albion basically asks Izuku, what did he do? Basically, yeah, he asks Izuku what he did. Izuku just says nothing, he just bought a pair of eyes. Oh, why am I having deja vu right now? He just says he bought a pair of eyes. Sasuke all of a sudden saying those pairs of eyes you bought is mine. Izuku obviously being weird. Keep in mind, he did not just take Sasuke's eyes. That's some Uchiha nonsense right there, bro. Yeah, anyway. A bit of more time later, Izuku, he's him basically taking notes on all of what Sasuke's saying. Sasuke basically giving him clear instructions on how to use his eyes. Izuku basically having basic knowledge on how to do this. What the... You know what, I don't know. But anyway. Sorry for cutting there. But anyway, after a bit more messing, but Sasuke explaining how to control his Sharingan and Rinnegan. Izuku, finally gets the hang of everything, and he thanks him. But anyway, Izuku sees another thing that interests him the most. No, not yet. Izuku just wakes up from this dreamland, and he finally, he goes to bed, to be more precise. He wakes up the next morning. He gets up, and is still walking down the street. This time, everything is dead silent. Izuku obviously weirded out by this, but just doesn't care. We just, ignore the silence. Until one video caught his interest. This video of him, this video basically making a sound that he knew all too well. Izuku quickly snapped his head at it and quickly ran over to see what was playing. Izuku saw him suddenly just appearing out of nowhere and falling onto the ground. He obviously looks around and just basically books it towards his class. Once he enters his class, he basically sees the same video playing. Basically walks up to Kano and asks her who took that video. She says she doesn't know. She was just showed it. Izuku sighs and just decides to deal with it later. So Izuku quickly went to his seat and just slept the entire school day. Well, the entire lesson. As he was basically sleeping, he suddenly heard someone scream dodge. Izuku he basically pulled his head back while he quickly jumped out of his seat just in time to see someone basically break it in half. Izuku looks at the person who did this and he sees Isayaro. Well, Isayaro and the rest of the orc. Izuku sighs and asks them what they want. Izuku, just by block convenience, let's say he had the Sharingan active at this time before quickly disactivating it. He basically sighed. And keep in mind, he's luckily covering his Renegon, since he can't make that basically deactivate. He's covering a Renegon with an eye patch, saying that he got hurt pretty badly. I'm asking how Izuku just said that. And Izuku just said that he fell on his face, accidentally hitting his eye on something. But they know it's not true, but just don't care. They ask what Izuku's power, basically what his power is, but Izuku doesn't answer them, but just instead looks away. He's like getting annoyed at this, punches him in the face, and Izuku falls on the ground, and basically they walk away. Izuku again sighing and saying that he wanted to beat his ass so good, but he knew he couldn't. So he got up, looked at his broken desk, and just looked at the teacher. The teacher's just looking at him, and basically just saying nothing. Izuku just turns around and walks away out of class, and toward his dorm room. Since he already knows everything, even the concept, even why. But what am I saying? Even the meaning of life. Izuku just lands on his bed and just goes to sleep. Izuku again wakes up and Sasuke asks him to do something. Naruto quickly asks him what, and he asks him to get Naruto here. So, Izuku asks him how, and basically, he says to basically go to the storm and even search up Naruto's Maki. He does this and sees basically Naruto. Well, Hokage Naruto. And this is adult Naruto Kundi. He looks at this and just says fine and looks at the price. The price being 10,000. Izuku being surprised by this and quickly saying that he's gonna have to grind by this. Basically, the amount of dollars that he earned just went up by 10,000 with every zombie kill that he has. Well, every kill that he makes. Izuku quickly says that DK, and Izuku just spent an hour and a half just murdering stuff. Well, he quickly exits and sees that he has basically 100,000. Izuku, wait, hold up, I gotta do something real quick. Wow. Yes, I'm not giving Izuku that much money. Hell no. I just basically times. I times 10,000 times 60, and that all added up to 60 to 600,000, which is obviously a no-no in my book. Yeesh, I might love my characters overpowered, but that's just no. Oh God, no. Wow. Anyway, if you want to be my 60 minutes, 60 minutes is in 1 hour. So yeah. Izuku, he basically looks and buys Naruto Uzumaki. He sighs and sees that he has $65,000 left. Izuku, that really didn't make a dent in his basically currency. And Izuku hearing four voices in his head now. One being very enthusiastic while the other is tired. This being Naruto and Sasuke. Naruto being basically, you think you can tell who's the enthusiastic one. But anyway. He goes to see what Peace says. He enters his mindscape, him disappearing into the particles, and appears in his mindscape. He basically sees what the fuck. Anyway, he basically sees a man with yellow hair. It's obviously being Naruto, but anyway, Izuku basically introduces himself, and Naruto introduces himself, and him explaining also why he's here. A bit of time later, and Izuku's finally done explaining. Naruto looks at Sasuke and says, "Did you miss me?" Sasuke saying, "No, I know. I do not ship Sasuke and Naruto. That's weird. This is making them very good friends here." But anyway. But by accident, Naruto accidentally activates Sage of Six Password. Him looking at Naruto and Naruto looking at him. He basically sighs and basically an hour later he is teaching Izuku on how to use this. Since Izuku is a very, very, very quick learner, he quickly gets the hang of things. He gets Sage mode, basically gets Kurama, Sage mode, basically everything Naruto has. Rasengan, Rasen Shuriken, and everything like that. He exits the mindscape and appears with blue particles again, him quickly looking at the window and spotting someone. This someone suddenly disappears before Izuku gets close to them. Izuku sighs, turns around and walks to this bed. Before he quickly turns around, looks at the mirror. Keep in mind, Izuku leveled up to basically 130,000. He sighs, and he basically puts it in his life. Izuku's left at the sun being at 60,000, while everything else at 200. His intelligence at basically 400. Izuku just basically went to sleep again. The next morning, he quickly gets up, gets ready for school, and quickly leaves. We time skip to basically Friday. Izuku, he comes home, he walks into his dorm room. What the absolute... Not important anyway. He basically... This person has been documenting him and has been not documenting, stalking to be more precise. His sensing ability has been going crazy. Usually he would sense one person, but now it's 5. Izuku sighs. He'd catch these people. And he wasn't playing around anymore. Izuku quickly, basically, he says, "I did create." Izuku wanted to blow off more steam since today was a bad day. His bad day. To be precise, his bullies went all out on him. He doesn't know why, they just did. And we see Izuku basically just, at this point, he's just destroying zombies. Usually crushing their skulls in his hand and quickly kicking them hard enough to basically pop them. Wondering what I mean? Pop basically explode, but enough force to explode them. And at this time, his explosion skill is at 60. He's basically half hard at 40 because he doesn't use that much. He doesn't use it that much. Sage just takes past more to level 20 since he just got it, but he got it a couple of days ago. Him basically always having the Renegon and the Renegon active being at level 100, his Sharingan being at level 60. Since Izuku actually loved the Sharingan, came with a lot of benefits. But anyway, Izuku's basically swords. Basically everything he has at level 200 since he uses them every day in combat. Well, his weapons, not his skills. His multiverse skill being at level 20 since he doesn't got a lot of multiverses. Izuku basically got up, turns around, and just keeps pounding on zombies. After a bit of time later, he's finally done killing all the zombies. Until one. This one sticking out to him. It knocked him in. Basically, it knocked him in the face, sending him tumbling back. Izuku quickly pushed off his hands, got on his feet, looked up at this thing, pissed off. This thing being a real type of zombie. Basically, he basically had this zombie having the strength of a circle, but he had hair on his. Basically, had hair everywhere on his body, kind of like a yeti. Izuku, not giving a crap, ran towards this thing and tried to end it with one punch. This thing basically catching Izuku's punch, but in the process shattering its arm, shattering its arm. Izuku obviously being surprised, but seeing that now its arm shattered, quickly jumps up and kicks this thing in the face. This thing's face basically decapitating it. Izuku basically jumps back down and basically looks at the thing. He sighs and turns around and walks off. Let me see what I am. Wow. 20 more minutes. I'm done recording, but anyway. Izuku. What the fuck? Izuku, finally done, quickly gets up. Sorry for random stopping there. Anyway, Izuku quickly basically says ID escape and basically exits his ID. Izuku just looks around and quickly exits his basically ID. He appears up in his dorm room. He basically looks around and there his senses go off again. Izuku quickly vanishes and grabs one by the head, him lifting the one up and basically saying he's an idol. Well, you don't know. Him basically grabbing this person and basically seeing a girl in his hand with blonde hair and a type of academy uniform. But before he could say anything, he basically got stabbed in the arm, quickly letting the person go, and suddenly these two people, well, the rest of the people just suddenly got warped out of there. To be precise, Izuku saw a black portal swallow them or something. Izuku quickly gets up and just decides, fuck it, that was weird, and just basically walks back into his dorm room. He basically walking up to his basic door, basically his bed, and just gets on top of it. would make a lot of sense. Anyway, Izuku just basically standing, but laying there, questioning on basically what to do. Izuku just sighs and decides to go to sleep. And you know what? Fine. I said 1 hour special. I'm gonna make this a 1 hour special. But anyway, we time skip by another basically 2 weeks, and we basically see everyone getting ready for the sports festival. Izuku was there stretching and just basically doing anything he can to get ready. Basically, they call out the classes up, and they come walking out. Izuku, he finally sees this. He finally walks out and sees Bakatsuki go do his speech. Bakugo says the same egotistical thing that he said and just came walking back down. Anyway, Deku sighing and just turning around and gets ready for the first test. They say basically the race, and basically there is a lot of people. Some people getting ready to use their magic, some the sacred gifts, some chakra, and basically some using potions of speed. And the rest goes on. So Izuku finally gets up. Izuku finally gets ready and tells himself he really needs a bar. He really needs to go to the Minecraft section. But anyway, Izuku quickly gets ready, gets in the race position. He hears go and he basically jogs. He's jogging at this point. It looks like he's running, but he's jogging. Izuku is basically behind everyone. Well, no, he's basically behind Bakugo and Todoroki. They look behind them and see this, and they're not too happy. Todoroki uses his ice quirk to basically stick Deku there, to keep Deku there. And basically Bakugo uses big explosions to basically send Deku tumbling down, breaking the ice in the process. I'm getting sent flying forward. Izuku quickly gets up and decides just to use a bit of his speed. Izuku with this is actually hella fast. Him basically running very fast. Him basically right behind these two again, and everyone basically cheering him on. They see this, Todoroki tries to do the same thing again, but Deku, he quickly dodges the attack, but instead of Cosmic basically feeling the ground, he tries shooting an ice glacier. And Bakugo basically exploding towards Deku and trying to explode him. Him luckily dodging this and chopping Deku, and basically knocking Bakugo in the back of his head. Bakugo explodes Deku inside the face and sends him tumbling again. Him exploding back towards he's saying, "You haven't won yet, half and half!" Izuku quickly gets up and he runs again. Him keeping at the same pace and catching up again. This time they're not carrying anymore. They know there's an obstacle ahead and he won't be able to basically pass it. Izuku quickly comes up to the obstacle, and he did take the rubber piece. So, he does the same thing with the obstacle. Since, he can't flex yet. And during this whole time, Itsuka and Kendo and Izuku have built up a relationship, not dating or anything, like friends. And he'd protect her. But anyway, so that's gonna come in and play later on. Izuku, he basically uses the same things as he basically uses everything as he did in canon. So anyway, next up is the cavalry battle. Nobody wanted to team up with Deku, well, except for Kendo, but he just said that he'd hold it back. Kendo saying okay and going up to original team as a Kendo. Izuku sighed, him having 1 million points as he won first place. Him being a prime, him being the prime suspect to everyone. Everyone giving him death glares. Izuku basically breathed out, him basically sighing and looking at Midnight and asking if he could be alone. Midnight says it would be harder but fine. And Izuku, so by this he basically ties the headband around his head and basically looks around saying that he's ready. And we hear go and everyone comes running towards Izuku. Izuku looks basically fakes being panicked and basically someone tries to grab the headband but he dodges and dodges. He basically dodges and grabs their headband and quickly runs as fast as he can. Well, not really. A fake jog, as you might say, as he basically just is very fast. Faster than basically, yeah, 4 legs and he's still faster. Izuku is just basically jogging, not real speed. Izuku's as fast as a Flash, but anyway. And the Flash is hella fast. Oh, only a couple of more minutes. Oh wow, gotta stretch. But anyway, Izuku quickly just keeps running. And basically until midnight until the time is actually coming to a close. The team's getting desperate. Todoroki shoots an ice glove and basically chops Deku. Well, it basically shoots out in front of him and Izuku quickly turns around to see Todoroki and Bakugo coming towards him. And Bakugo leaps off of his basically team and tries to grab the headband. But Deku dodged quickly and all he heard was a reciprocal bursto. Leader was flying towards him at this current time and he's coming fast. Izuku basically sensed that this was danger and forcefully made him avoid it. Him basically dodging it. Leader being shocked that he dodged his reciprocal burst and Todoroki at the same time. Basically, Leader couldn't do anything after that. So they were quite stuck. And basically time ran out. Izuku quickly runs away and into the bathroom stalls and looks at himself in the mirror. Him seeing that his Sharingan was activated. Him asking why, but getting no reply. Why reply? Anyway. But anyway. Izuku quickly sighs, turns around and walks away. He basically comes back and sees that it's a 1v1. He's basically happy that he survived for this long. Since he hasn't used any of his power while everyone has. Quite a handicap. Wow, 2 minutes. 1 minute. But anyway. Izuku Midoriya. He hears his name be called. He hears his name be called. And Sensei Hitoshi. He comes walking and Todoroki didn't ask if it was Almond's love child. Because, he doesn't have one for all. And third, he asked Hitoshi Sensei about that. Hitoshi asking him if he's crazy and Todoroki saying no. But anyway. Basically, Shinso. Him and Shinso basically staring each other down. And basically he'd go. Basically, Hitoshi, he charges up one for all full counting to 5%, not one to Asta, and the rest of his opponents. He basically charges towards Izuku, and Izuku quickly charges at him. He dodges basically a punch from Shinso, which was impressive, and basically uppercuts Shinso in the face. Okay, can be common. He lays it up with another punch to the gut, making Chitoshi basically fell over, and Izuku kneeing him in the face. Shinso basically is hurt by this, but looks back up and sees Izuku coming towards him. He basically flicks Izuku 100%, sending Izuku flying and rolling to the edge. Izuku quickly caught himself, quickly got fast, and quickly ran towards Hitoshi again. Izuku cocked his fist back with a punch him in the face. That is until Hitoshi also revealed his fist back. They basically clashed fists, and Izuku didn't feel anything since his high ability. They both push back each other, but Izuku acts like he's injured. He looks down at his hand and basically just fake touches it. He looks at Shinso and see him just standing there with an injured hand. Hitoshi wondering why he's injured but just doesn't care because he's in a fight right now. He quickly runs towards Izuku again. Izuku runs towards him. Hitoshi wheels back his fist and tries to punch Izuku in the face. Izuku no. Izuku quickly dodging this and basic. What the absolute hell? Basically, Izuku dodging this and basically kneeing Hitoshi in the gut and lit it up with a punch to the face. Keep in mind, Izuku is using basically 0% of his strength at this point, or 0.0000001%. He quickly punches him in the face and basically lays it all up with a knee to the face. And basically, Izuku kicks him in the gut again and basically tackles him towards the ground. Both of them going towards the ground, and Izuku basically being on top and basically beating down on Shinso. Shinso finally stops moving and Izuku basically knocked him out. Izuku quickly stands up. Izuku stands up and basically Midnight says that he shows Hitoshi Shinso is unable to fight. All might seeing this is obviously saddened that his successor was defeated by a quirkless person. But him also seeing a bit of pride and saying maybe quirkless people can become heroes. But anyway, you know what? Nah. Nope. So we time to skip to Izuku versus Todoroki. So a bit more. Basically, Izuku and Todoroki come walking towards the ring. So, a few minutes into the fight, and Izuku basically has ice on one of his arms. And Todoroki just keeps talking, keeps talking BS towards Izuku. Him saying that he is worthless, and he is worthless, saying that he doesn't deserve to be here and everything like that. Izuku just didn't care until he said one thing. Keep in mind, Izuku has some sort of memory of his mom. His mom was basically a good person. A very good person. But anyway, Izuku, Todoroki basically says I know why your mom abandoned you. Izuku quickly stops dodging and looks up. Todoroki basically saying something that basically pissed off Izuku. To the point where he didn't care anymore. He basically summoned. Well, he used Baku's explosion quirk and blasted towards Todoroki. him not caring anymore and quickly blasting Todoroki in the face, sending Todoroki tumbling back and Todoroki being surprised that it actually has Croak and little less being Bakugo's. Bakugo looks at this and is honestly surprised. So was everyone. They thought it was Croakless. Izuku does this again until Todoroki tries to freeze him basically dodging his ice and basically like Baku did the deku and ended up behind him. But instead of doing that basically a lone explosion, he let out a full on explosion. This explosion could match Bakugo's gauntlets. He lit this explosion off and we see Shoto-san firing. But Izuku never let up. He blasted towards Shoto again and basically summoned Jag. Him wanting to end Todoroki's life. He basically grabbed Todoroki before he could basically land out the ring. He grabbed him by the head and basically forced his head into the ground, thus causing a crater. And at this point, I think I'm gonna end it here. Yeah, bye.